war has added another $34 per barrel. Of course, this is an artificial addition caused by the countries of the global north, the Bazungu, mishandling their bilateral relations and also mishandling global affairs as well. We are quietly engaging these actors to see how these actors can remove this artificial burden from the world, because now this extra $34 is really caused by our Bazungu friends. Because the Bazungu are the ones involved in all this. The Bazungu of Boraya, Europe, the ones of America, and the ones of Russia. So we are talking with them quietly. I don't want to go into the details here, but this is artificial. The real structural problem of the oil is the $80, the $80. But this extra 34 can be removed. Because, for instance, I hear, because you see the Bazungu are fighting, they have now boycotted Russian oil. So Russia has got the oil, but it's not, I hear now Russia has reduced the amount of oil they are refining every day by 1 million barrels a day, because the other Bazungu have boycotted this and because of that you have the shortage. So this is artificial. It's not the other one of worrying about the future of oil is more structural, is more organic with the problem. So if it was the only one, I think we would end up like $80. That's what it was. That's what it was before the Ukrainian war. So this one is solvable. Even the problem of wheat, those who want wheat, because the Russians have blockaded the Ukrainian ports, and I hear within the ports there are 25 million tons of wheat. So even the wheat eaters could do, if these people, if they are a bit humble, because the problem is humidity. Everybody everybody berege. Buli omu yemanyi nti yekitalo. Naye singa beetowazako, both the wheat and the oil, the petroleum, and even the fertilizers. You remember the fertilizers are also a problem because they are produced by Russia, I hear. So this one, rather than saying that that we should waste our money, our reserves and abandon our plans, because of the these wars among these people. We would rather persuade them so that we continue with our plans for infrastructure, for what, and try to persuade these people to please remove your artificial problem. If they agree, good. If they don't, we create a higher base for ourselves, where we can say bye-bye, you can continue with your own things, we are safer. Instead of aborting our journey for these temporary and irrational positions by others, then we shall not be safer. They may not. It may continue for a long time. Do we abort our journey indefinitely or what? So that's why this one, I think the short term is the answer is diplomatic engagement with these actors who have caused this problem. Nevertheless, this artificial distortion should not divert us from our long-distance journey of achieving socio-economic transformation, because that is the only way of not only increasing our affluence, but also immunizing ourselves against the mistakes of others. We need to continue until we achieve immunity from the mistakes of others. And I can say already we have some immunity. We already have some immunity because of what has been done, in spite of being obstructed by some elements within Uganda that many times delay our programs. Yet, with patience and correct response, it will turn out to be an advantage to the country. If you mishandle it, it can cause collapse. But if you handle it well, it will actually become an advantage. Straight away, a serious problem solver would cluster the commodities with high prices into two categories. The imported ones on the one hand, and the locally produced ones on the other hand. You must do that. You must say these commodities with high prices, which are the ones which are imported? Because those are more dangerous. Those are more dangerous. They are the ones which can take away all the blood and you remain dry. So blood without stopping. Some of the ideas people think about when confronted with high commodity prices are the idea of subsidy, government okutukwatirako, or removal of taxes by government from those commodities. With the imported commodities, this is a recipe for disaster. It will lead to collapse of the economy. Why? Let us take the example of petrol. A litre of petrol, before the rise of prices in November 2021, was Uganda shillings 4,590, which meant US dollars 1.3 at that time. A litre of petrol is now Uganda shillings 5,500, which means US dollars 1.48. This is all with the tax. The more expensive litre of petrol, ey'obuseere, kati litre eyo eya petrol efuuse litre ey'obuseere, has become an expensive litre, is doing two bad things. This litre is doing two bad things. One, emptying the pockets of the consumers, because the more litres you buy, the more empty you, the consumer, your pocket becomes. Eno litre y'obuseere enyinyota akasente akali mu nsawo yo. This is one damage it is doing. But also emptying our national dollar reserves. So this expensive litre enyunyuta ebyaji bibiri ekyagi kyo ekitono ekyomu nsawo n'ekyagi ky'eggwanga. Ekyagi is the Luganda word for the granary. Ekitara in Runyankore. I think in Luo they call it enguri. In Acholi they call it dero. Dero. I think in others they call it edula or something like that. So this expensive liter of petrol is very dangerous because it is sucking money from pockets of individuals, and because when we buy from outside, we don't buy with Uganda shillings, we buy with the dollars. So it is also sucking dollars from our national reserve. More. We now have US dollars 4.5 billion in our reserve. Our reserves have grown. There used to be about $3 billion. They are now $4.5 billion in the reserve. These are enough to support imports for 4.2 months. Support imports normal like the way they were. When the prices were normal, they would support imports for 4.2 months. Now, when you bring these ones, if you have said these expensive ones, you need to watch out. If we subsidize or even just remove the taxes on imported commodities, the level of consumption will either remain the same, but this time each liter taking more dollars, or actually increase. So this idea of mtukwatireko, subsidize, or even remove the taxes, if the purchasing level remains the same, this dollar now, as you saw, has gone from 1.3. This liter has gone from $1.3 to 1.48. It has gone. So it's the same 1 liter, but it is taking more from your pocket and from our reserves. But to make matters worse, if they say subsidize, as people say, or remove the tax, then people can buy more, because the petrol will be cheaper.